live. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning and good evening. It's Constant here, and it's streamed from home on Everything Nikon. For some of you who is the first time here, Grace Westminster channel is a channel about Nikon equipment. We discuss everything Nikon from latest news to the oldies and goodies, I would say, the vintage equipment. Let me know in the comments below how is the audio, how is the video. As simple as that. I haven't done the live stream from home, especially alone, for a very long time. So I want to make sure that actually everything is working okay. And can you hear me? Because if you can't hear me, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to set up the audio for next 20 minutes. But if the audio is okay, let me know in the comments below. It's good to see you all. We have people from all over the world. We got John, Rick, Eddie, Andy, Rick. Good coffee, by the way. Thanks for leaving it. So drinking it now, actually. Medium roast. Quite strong for medium roast, surprisingly. Hello, Andy. Hello, Len. Hello, John, Colin, Joe, J Blue is in the chat as well. Fantastic. Ray Powell, David Moscoro, Richard Hovland, Nick Harrison. Everyone's here. Dave Walker. I don't need another lens. Hello, and I still like your name. I need another lens, to be honest with you. What I got right now. Remember when we talked about Voigtlander lenses? And I said that 28 and 58 f-mount are on my list. It's little SMR, open it up. So I've got 28mm recently, secondhand at Grace Westminster, because this is the best way to acquire your equipment. And also a 58mm lens. So I'm very happy about this. So my trinity of Voigtlander f-mount lenses is complete. There is a 90mm, which is there. But I don't know if I really need 90. I kind of have my H5 1.4. And that does the job, actually. So, but the only thing is it's a G lens. So it would go on my f100. It won't go on my FM3A camera. But I'll stick with that for now. But 90 is definitely a very capable lens. I can tell you that. Hope everyone's doing okay. My weekend starts a bit earlier this week. So as you see, I'm from home. I've been doing a bit of gardening this morning, enjoying the nice and sunny day. I've got 150 watts light in here, but I think the window light is probably overpowering it. It's not good power, like enough power to overpower the sun. But it's a beautiful day in South London. So I am cutting the trees, doing the last cut of grass, you name it. So that's what it is. My hope is for weekend, maybe go for a nice drive with Steely and my wife, and we're gonna probably do a bit of hiking. So that's what it is. Hello, Jacob. Hello, Champagne Sumo. Joseph Taylor, Philip Isa, Jeff Davis, Marsden, Art Bear. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. J Blue, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Enjoy your coffee. Here it is, still hot. I just made it just before the live stream. If you've got any photography related questions or any news you want to share, anything Nikon related or photography related, let's discuss it. It's an open topic today. I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear your thoughts, your questions. It's all about you today. We're going to have a conversation. So depending how long we'll go, it may go for next 20 minutes, it may go for an hour, who knows. But it all depends on the chat today. So that's the thing. On the days off, I rely on you and your input. I can tell you that much. Coffee Fund is open as usual, so if you want to support this channel, that's the best way to do it. You can also subscribe to Nikon Own magazine and get the either prints or digital issues in the post or email, and you can use my code. It's all in the description below as well. So that's all. Not many Nikon news this week, if you notice. So last week was kind of packed with announcements from 51.4 lens and the limited edition ZFCs. What do you think about those, by the way? And the lots that Red designed for Nikon cameras. So that's all been excited. There's nothing else at the moment. What I can tell you is the Nikon UK promotion and European promotion, that is 10% of the lenses and the discounts of cameras, including Z8s, ZFs, and D850s. It's all ends on Monday. So there's 10% of the lenses as well. So if you're interested in buying those, that's the kind of a time to do it because the price is going to go up basically on Tuesday. So that's what it is. Let's see. Champagne Sumo needs vodka. Well, that's that's Friday for you. My last day of this week was Thursday, so I'm taking it nice and easy. Very chill today. So that's good. Sound is fine. That's fantastic. Let's see. So Michael Reed just ordered a 35mm 1.8 G full frame lens this morning. Thank you very much, Michael. We appreciate it at the shop. So I'm sure you spoke to one of my colleagues. We have two Danis in there. We have Leela. So all of them are very excited to talk to you and answer your technical questions. Definitely thumbs up to the guys in the shop. They doing an honest and good work. Big respect for them. So we have a really good team. So let's see. Tilly is passing by. She's going to have some food now. It's a bit late breakfast for her, but it is what it is. Greetings from Overcast Elkins. Fantastic. Let's see if I can find any questions. So Champagne Sumo is asking, how about two D500s or two D850s? You see, two D500s is 40 megapixels. Yeah, 20 and 20 megapixels. It doesn't work this way, but D850 is 45 megapixels, which is better. Personally, I'm a full frame man, so for me, always D850, no matter what. But if you use long lenses and you need DX crop on top of it, that's one way to do it, I guess. But if you ask me if it would be me, D850 any day, it's the best DSLR Nikon ever made, in my opinion. Hello, Patrick. Happy Friday. The lighting looks good. Well, that's the thing. You see, like when I'm out in space, I can create things, and I've got a bit of background blur and all this. So in office, it's definitely a lot more difficult to set things up. So we kind of have to stick to things because the studio, when I'm live streaming in the shop, is not really like a room dedicated for studio. It's just one piece of the wall that I can use with a desk on. That's what it is. Here, in my space, I can, can set up a little background, put a little camera on, these little, photography books at the back. So, it's all nice and easy. But yeah, I do enjoy streaming from home. I can tell you that. Hello, Randall. Good to see you as well. Kisses in Overcast Edinburgh. Z8 is suggested as a camera. Okay, so Andy is asking how much was the 58 used. Well, Andy, unfortunately for me, I kind of can get it at the cost price. You see, so for me it was a little bit cheaper. But yet one customer of ours who bought it from us sold it to us. So yeah, those two lenses and the 40mm. But I do have a 40mm, so I'll stick with those. So I can tell you. I need to say thank you. Because we've got those beautiful calendars for 2025 been sent to us from Australia. All right, so by David Jenkins. Thanks so much for sending us. He sent 3 copies of this, one for me, one for Becky, who I will see tomorrow, and we will film a few reviews for you. So if you want to say hi to Becky, definitely say hi to her in the chat, and I'll pass it on tomorrow. And one copy was for Grace. Thanks so much for sending over, David. I appreciate it. It's always nice to receive a little trinkets from our viewers and just supporters of the shop. So it's very nice. It's very nice. So thanks so much. I will email you as well as soon as I get a chance. But I just want to share it with you all. So yes, we are actually heading towards 2025. Can you imagine that? What are we going to film tomorrow? There's a 50-400 Tamron lens. So that's what we're going to film tomorrow. So that's that. Looking forward to that. So we're going to unpack it. We're going to the place with lots of birds. So let's see that. And then there's a Tamron 75mm f2 lens. So that's a new one as well. So looking forward to it. This is autofocus lens as well. So still sealed. We're going to film that tomorrow. Was hoping to get 51.4, but it hasn't arrived yet. So in terms of this, unfortunately, it probably will have to wait for the next shooting day. Now, for some of you who pre-ordered 51.4, the news is that they will be arriving on the 26th of September. So it seems like that's official launch date. So with those things, obviously, delivery may get delayed, but so far from what we were kind of got assured that 26 is where the 51.4s will arrive to the shop, so you can either give us a call if you want to come and collect it, or we will give you a call to say it's here and we are shipping it to you, to your address. So that's that. Let's see. Ian White is asking a question. He's saying, I'm using a Nikon D800 and the D810 at the moment. If I was to go mirrorless, what would you suggest? Thank you. So, well, both D800 and D810 are kind of low and slow cameras, I would say. D810 obviously an improvement. D800 was a little bit slow-ish, just because the amount of data, I think, what, 36 megapixels, isn't it? So in some cases, wasn't exactly super fast. I can tell you that. So D810 is definitely an improvement. So because you have 36 megapixel cameras, the advice there, obviously, you don't want to go to 24 megapixels in a way, so you probably want to go up, isn't it? So in terms of this, maybe advice would be to go towards 45 megapixel sensors. So we have Z7 II, Z8, and Z9. I would say, if you're looking at a camera which is similar to D810, it would be Z8. If you want something smaller and lighter, it would be Z7, and it would be, well, I wouldn't call it low and slow, definitely high resolution, but not as fast in terms of what's focus speed compared to cameras like Z8 and Z9. But those kind of my suggestions would be. If people have more suggestions in the chat, let me know in the comments below. But technically, if you're looking at direct replacement, Z8 is where it's at. It's on discount at the moment. We have fantastic price on this at the moment. Actually, I think it's 3199 if I'm not mistaken. Have a look on our website. That's a good price. I can tell you that. All right, so let's see. More questions. So let's see. It's all about the chat today. So I will feed from your comments. Like a comments vampire. But let's see. All the High Angler says, confession time. Completely forgot about 24-70 f4 line lens. Last week I was thinking about 24-200, which is not the S-line lens. Well, the thing is, 24-70 is fantastic lens. It's probably the best kit lens they ever made. I mean, we obviously can get a kit with 24-120, but it's not exactly kit, I would say. So the 24-70 is very, very sharp. I agree, it's better than 24-200, but 24-200 is so convenient, isn't it? So in terms of this, I personally, love both lenses. If you're looking for sharpness, 24-70. If you're looking for all-rounder, 24-200, of course. Absolutely. Let's see. Imtiaz K says, I'm still happily living with my D500 and D750 while my fellow photographers have jumped over to Z. None of us are commercial photographers. Then why should one jump to Z? Well, one shouldn't do anything they don't want to. The only reason that people want to do this is because they're excited to try new things. And obviously, the way the whole things work, we generally buy new things. That's as simple as that. But technically, if you're still shooting film, why would you jump on digital? That's kind of nuts. If you're enjoying what you're enjoying, there's really no need. But if you see the reason for upgrade, and if you see improvement in the image quality, let's say, or in the performance, or maybe the weight of the camera and handling of the camera, then there are reasons. So everyone is personal, and everyone's kind of reasons will be different, I would say. So it's always, we have those comments where we review our latest lens, and people say, well, let's say, imagine we review 51.4, the new one, let's say. The video comes out, and then someone says, well, my P51.4 AIS is still a good lens. Well, yes, that's the thing. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't review the lens, if you see what I mean. So that's the thing. So overall, I'd say if you're enjoying what you're enjoying, there's really no reason to upgrade because you're still enjoying what you're using. That's the thing. And, I shoot film, I enjoy shooting film, and those are old cameras. That's the thing. Okay, a question from David. So he says, how many versions of the Voigtlander 58 are there? Mine looks nothing like yours. Okay. Good question. I don't know. That's the answer. We've started to stock Voigtlander lenses for about 3-4 years ago. So this is the current version. They may have. I don't think the design have changed. The optical design have changed. They may have changed the casing of the lens. That could be it. But overall, I think they had a smooth ring. Tilly, you can come in. That's fine. Don't be shy. So, they may have changed the casing of the lens, but actually optical, I think optical design is about the same. So it's absolutely, so if, I think they will perform the same. And beautiful lens on all cameras, on digital cameras, on film cameras, on GFX, on something like on something like black magic video cameras and stuff like this. So fantastic lens, beautiful character. I recommend you to try it out. Have a look at the reviews that we did. That's what it is. Tilly is around here. She's busy. She's hunting the fly. That's what she does. So yeah, I definitely recommend one of those to you. Okay, so Matt Lee says, Con does it personally on a Grace vintage bike. Delivery time varies depends on the number of coffee stops required. Coffee shops required. Yeah, coffee stops are directly related to coffee shops. I think I'm very keen on finding a new coffee place. And I look for hipster-looking bearded mustache people. And shabby chics ladies dressed up. I know it's a good coffee shop, and El La Marzocco coffee machine or Slayer, definitely gives away of a good coffee shop. However, sometimes barista skills are not there. Here you go. So sometimes it's also, style over substance. But I did deliver a few cameras back in the day. I can tell you that, especially for the people who live in the area where I live. So sometimes I get off the train and I have a Grays or Westminster bag in my hand, and I pass it on to a client, so hand delivered. So I've done that in the past for sure. Don't do bike days anymore. I used to cycle. When I used to live in Battersea, it was about 10 minutes by bicycle to get to Grays. I was still late though, because it's, shop opens at 10, it's, 9:51. It's time to go to Grays, so, but I used to love to cycle to Grays, or I used to walk to Grays. That was half an hour walk from Battersea. I used to live near Battersea Cats and Dogs. And at the time, Battersea Power Station wasn't developed. It wasn't as beautiful as it is now, so there was no pier. But good times. So it's going to take me about an hour to cycle from South London area to work nowadays. So definitely not for me. So John Hughes says, I have no money left, but I'm still thinking about 400mm 4.5, but I also would like a new Hasselblad lens. Ooh, which one to get first? That's a good question, John. So I'm sure that Hasselblad lenses aren't as good as 400. I guess the answer is, which one would you think you would use the most? That's the thing. But Hassi just came out with some limited edition X2 something, Explorer edition. It's a lot of money. Looks cool, but it's a lot of money. I can tell you that. Their walker is heading to Mallorca tomorrow, and he's just finishing packing. Time for usual messing about over what I have forgotten to pack. Do trail camera kit. So he's got Z6 with 14-30, 24-120, and 51.8 lens. I think you kind of you covered, because you got your mid-range zoom, you got your wide-angle zoom, and you got your shallow depth of field prime lens. I think you're good to go, really. And Z6 is nice and portable. So. Green screen for Gray's live streaming, not enough space in the back. That's the thing. Not a big fan of green screens, but I had this idea of sassing it up, doing it like Twitch stream, where your comments running on the right hand side, and there's like animations and stuff like this. But don't have enough time to set this and learn it, and then you need to buy software, or you need to use OBS, which I'm using now. But the way I use OBS now is like, I've launched it. I didn't launch it for about 2 years. I've updated it as long as it connects to YouTube, and I hook up my Nikon camera via a webcam Nikon utility. It seems to work, which is good news, because I forgot what software I use. Because the last couple of times I did streams from home, it was through Zoom, because I would either be on call with Seth Miranda or Matt Irvin. So for the interviews, maybe it's time actually to, Seth was here fairly recently, but I haven't spoken to Matt. So maybe it's a good time for us to invite Matt to the chat. Okay. Definitely, John, I'll pass your regards to Becky. She's always happy to hear that you still remember her. It's always, makes us happy when every live stream, every week, someone puts a comment under the video, says, where is Becky? So that's the thing. But yes, no, she loves to hear that you still remember her. That's the thing. All right. So Tadeusz says hello from Montreal. A bit late today. Still have a D5300 with a flippy screen, which works very well with a DX Pancake. I absolutely agree. It's fantastic camera. So that's definitely, I recommend that. I don't need another lens is asking my opinion regarding either trying out to copy inspirational photos and keeping developing your own style, for example, with macro photography. Is their style with macro photography? I'm sorry, shots fired. But okay, the way it works and the way kind of when I studied photography, we were always told, especially with the studio lighting and things like this, do your research and try to replicate. When you try to replicate, you learn how things are done by another person. So that teaches you a lot of skill how it's done. So you know that a lot of your own style, a lot of that kind of, your own style is normally an evolution of different styles of different photographers. Your style doesn't become exactly the same, if you see what I mean. Your style comes from your love of different photographers, different techniques, your life experience. So all that will form your own style. So I don't see the problem of replicating and copying it, but it's a part of research and learning the skill. When you're trying to copy and make it your own style, which is identical to someone else's style, that's a not good way to approach it. That's what, that's kind of my opinion about it. But when you learn, I think it's very important because, especially with lighting, how do you set up one light or something like this? So one of the assignments I had at the college, we basically said choose famous photograph and try to replicate it. So it's the famous portrait, let's say. So so we choose the image, and then we try to replicate it. And the idea is not to replicate it in the way of styling, let's say. I mean, makeup is quite interesting, if you can style it similar way, you don't need to get similar looking person, if you see it. But it's more, let's say, about the styling, but the light and the technique of the photographer. So that's what, was important. And then while doing this, you do learn a lot. So that's kind of, hopefully that answers your question. Nigel Sutton's in the chat. He said, afternoon, Con. Missed a couple of weeks, but been out on my bike with Z6II and Z24-50 lens. That's fantastic portable combination to carry in my pack while cycling. I absolutely agree with you. 24-50 lens, I would say it's underrated lens. It's not going to win any awards in terms of image quality. It's probably one of the weakest Z lenses Nikon ever made. But it's good for genuine photography. It's good absolutely for genuine photography, and it's small. So in terms of that, it's pretty good. So 75 f2, someone mentioned, Craig C mentioned, so that's TTR 75 f2. That's what it is. Paul P says, question, beware, the new photo view on iPads 18 does arbitrary crops when looking to photos. Okay, well, that's a public service announcement, isn't it? So here you go, a PCA for you from Paul P. Thank you very much. I don't know what iPad I'm on. I think it's about 4 or 5 years old. Does the job. I normally use them till they break. So, but still going strong, luckily. So, let's see, more question. Andy says, video buffering, is it still buffering or no buffering? So, because Matt says no buffering. Okay, well, let's see. Should be fine, but it's streaming over Wi-Fi, so that could be the reason for that. And it could be that I set up OBS the wrong way, so that's another thing. But hopefully everyone else is having a good experience, so who knows? Let's see. There's discussion of the IBs, so that's that in the chat. If you want to participate, go join the chat. If you're watching live and you're not in the chat, guys, come on, join us. So that's it's always a good crowd in there. Raimo Nurmi says, I went from D800 to Z7 II and have no regrets. I agree with you. It's a good camera. The only thing I didn't like about Z7 is compared to D800, the feel of the camera. I do like the 800 is nice and chunky. I think that's the only really reason. So Ian White is asking if there's a 7200 available for Z mount. Yes, indeed. There are two lenses available for Z mount from Nikon. One is 7200 f2.8, and another one is Z7218 2.8, which is a bit cheaper. And we have review on both of them on our channel. So Ian, definitely have a look in there. So we have reviews on them separately and also comparison as far as I remember. Joe Vlog says two things that could pull me to that: subject autofocus tracking for wildlife and slow motion video. I'm not sure if I would get use out of video, so less impetus for me. Yeah, I mean the video is there, just part of this. But yes, our cameras become quite smart, isn't it? So that's the thing. So you got now boxes around the animals, and when the animal is fairly close, you're gonna get a box on the eye. So that's all good. That kind of makes us, I won't call us a bit lazier, but definitely it's a lot easier now to track the subject, for wildlife photography than what it used to be. It doesn't mean that the old cameras like D850 and D500 or, D6, D5 won't do the job. Absolutely, they're absolutely fine. But those kind of, new things we are getting now effectively via software, and the mirrorless cameras allow this because we effectively get EVF, so electronic viewfinder instead of optical viewfinder. Yes, those things make it definitely a lot easier for photography. So yeah, but like as I say, for general photography, we won't need those features, but for anything more specific, especially where tracking is required and speed of focus, that's where, we definitely seen a huge improvement with mirrorless over DSLRs. But also it took Nikon some time. So we're talking about current generation of cameras, really, not previous generation, because previous generations are good, but not as snappy as what we have now in Generation 3 cameras. So good recommendation to Ian from the chat in terms of cameras. So that's good news. Hello, Greg. Good to see you. I don't think we've seen you in a while. So welcome back, Greg. Always good to see you. Hasselblad X2D Earth Explorer, gorgeous. Yes, generally not a big fan of limited edition, but I kind of dig that design. Yeah, I think it looks pretty for sure. Not £12,000 pretty, but Hasselblad knows how to market and style their cameras. The same as Leica, but let's not involve price in it, isn't it? So because value for money is definitely not there, I can tell you that. So but yes. Let's see. When we will see Gray again, Andy? Probably next month. So he kind of decided to take a small break from the live streams with me. So, but he will be joining us. We have kind of a few things that we've started to record as well as the separate videos, and we haven't finished it yet. So we're hoping to do this at some point. But yes, definitely we'll happy to see Gray soon. I think we are kind of finishing our old camera covers. So if you have suggestions of what topics me and Gray can cover together, definitely let me know. We also had this project we worked on with Gray together of an interview with a very interesting person to do with the magazine publishing in the UK. So that's been kind of dragging for several months now. So we were supposed to have this live stream on 30th of August. That didn't happen. So my hope is that maybe around October we will have this live stream. I'm kind of thinking of kind of setting up an interviews where kind of I just set up the live stream and then Gray and that person talks, and I really kind of will be, won't be participating in it. So you guys can enjoy the conversation of adults and, not the kids. As someone put in the comments under our FM3 video, it says, I don't know if those guys actually know how to use the cameras. They don't look old enough. So, but it's just, my thinking behind this is kind of bring different flavor for you as well on the channel. A different voice, then definitely I want to do that. You don't need to listen to me all the time. And while I enjoy being there, sometimes conversation and interview is better when there are two people instead of three people. That's kind of my thinking about it. Unless, of course, it's me and Becky and Richie or Seth or Matt, and then we can just, chat over each other, So that's we love to do this, So and it's obviously a different vibe as well. So that's the Ray on things to cover. Definitely let me know in the comments below. All right, David Mascora has a question. Has anyone tried the Tech Heart Adapter, okay, adapter. Yeah, curious of what thoughts are. Yeah, so yeah, people in chat, please let David know. I think I told the story that I have a tech art adapter and I can't update it. So I had people trying to help me out with that. So far, no luck. It's to do with USB and USB 2 and USB 3 connection, but I have a feeling that my update cable is faulty. That's what I'm thinking. But I've recently got two USB 2 computers for my photography lab that I work in. Two new scanners, and those should have two USB cables. So I might try to do that. So who knows? Ian, we will never forget Becky, and I'm always happy to see her, when she's around. So definitely, I'll pass your regards to Becky, absolutely, and from Colin as well, absolutely. Rick Getty is asking a question. TC8 Heathrow would not check my film under 800 ISO. After developing the film, it looks cloudy and just not right. What does the film look like after ruined by YSA X-ray? So there's if you look, so there's a I think video on YouTube by I think a lady from Germany, if I'm not mistaken, where she went through all the airports and scanned her film several times and showing her results. There's a good article on the darkroom.com, which is very well-known film lab in the United States that goes through that. The gist of it is if you have old scanners, they generally should be fine. The new, what's called CT scanners, they generally are not good for film. Unfortunately, and there's a big debate on this, everyone's airport experience may vary, unfortunately. And it's annoying. It's absolutely annoying because it really depends on the people who you encounter at the check. So yes, generally, if you get someone who doesn't want to do it, unfortunately, there's not much you can do about it. You can ask for supervisor. They should be able to accommodate you generally, but obviously, it's a process where everyone is trying to get through, get on their flights. Yeah, it's not exactly a most, let's say, peaceful experience. It's quite stressed. I agree with you. Generally, the advice of internet as well is to put a label on your bag with film. So like do not X-ray. You can download those off Kodak website and print them out. The advice there is to put 32 ISO film into the bag of all the films there and just have it there as a kind of a spare and show that you have the film in there. That's the thing. So Ilfred Delta 3200 or Kodak P3200. Those are 3200 films or 800 ISO film, things like this. That's the thing. Try to do that. Hopefully it goes through. Luckily, so far I had good experience overall. Even when the people say, well, it should be fine under 800 ISO, I kind of raise my concern and say, well, I understand this, but I had in the past where I had this thing that's been fogged up. And, and that's to do with the scanners. And would you mind to do this, please? And then it kind of helped. But when I was flying to the United States, it was from Gatwick this month, and I had 30 bags, 30 rolls plus of film. It was all hand checked. They looked very suspicious at me. Like, why do you need so much film? I was like, well, because it's 3 weeks trip. We're driving for 3 weeks nonstop. I want to make sure I'm covered. Yeah. So then I'm sorry, Andy. Sorry, I missed. I'm sorry, Rika. That happened. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. There's another thing where, like, there's what's called you can buy those I think Dome Care X-ray bags. The problem is if it's a new CT scanner, they can just return your bag. They can scan it, won't see anything. They will return your bag, increase the power of the scanner, and they will just do scan through that as well. So that's the thing. But hopefully, when I was flying back from LA. There was a little poster literally right next to the checkout place where you scan everything. It says, if you have a film over 800 ISO or you're not 100% sure, please ask for hand check. So that was very nice. And the TCA security was very nice. He checked every single roll of film I had, and was quite fun fine about it, which is very, very nice. All right, more comments. Joe Vlogs, I shoot macro on DX rather than the full frame. Crop factor plus extra depth field, though diffraction can creep in earlier with DX when stopping down. Okay, well, that's interesting. Good to know on that. Selective Imagery says, hello, Con, hope you are well. Do you think Nikon has any plans for ultra-wide-angle lenses for some of the third-party manufacturers? I think we'll see that, but there's no news that I can share with you, unfortunately. So that. Hello, William. You're never late. No one is late on this live stream. So yeah, I mean, obviously for the chat may be late, but we still have a bit of time. So that's good. And then the rest you can watch on demand later on. Hit the like button, absolutely, Andy. I appreciate it. So that's one way to support the channel. Coffee Fund is open. You can support the channel this way as well. Thank you very much. The more likes we get, the more people, basically, the more algorithm we will share it with more people, basically. That's what it is. That's how it works. Jonathan says, hello from gloomy Yorkshire. Another good live chat. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work and sharing Nikon knowledge. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's always nice to hear. If you have any photography channels, is any more knowledge I can share with you, definitely ask me those questions in the chat right now while we're streaming. Okay, so let's see. Craig C is asking macro people, what's your favorite software for focus stacking? Please let us know in the comments below. I'm not a focus stacker. I'm not a macro person. So definitely the chat would be the right place. But yes, Jay Blue says Helicon Focus for focus stacking. Yeah, Helicon has been around for so long that it's probably by default considered to be one of the best softwares. I think even like I've started to work in the shop back in 2008, right? So I think already Helicon software was mentioned back then. And then you can kind of motorize it. You can motorize it, and you can somehow make it work. So while you're taking pictures, I think if you're shooting tethered, there's all sorts of cool things with Helicon you can do. So definitely. John loves his X2D Hasselblad, and it's an amazing camera, fantastic. I agree. Got a friend who got two friends. One that has X2D. So she loves it. Another chap is still shooting on X1D, and he just says, yeah, the 50 megapixel is all he needs. He really loves it. A bit slow, what he says, but the color science is amazing, and that's one of the reasons you buy Hasselblad cameras, for this kind of very, very specific color science, very neutral color science. If you want a neutral, that Hassi is the way to go, because everyone else, Nikon, Fuji, Canon, adds their own flavor to it. So that's the thing. And we all love, our Nikon color science, that's for sure. But for neutrality, that's the place. Okay, let's see more of your comments. I know, No, I haven't caught up with anything, so that's good. I just refreshed my chat. So let's see. Okay, so this discussion on DSLRs. Okay, yes, Helicon software discussion, we covered on this. Okay, so there's a review on F5 and F6, okay. Rick used TechArt, David, so he says worked well on his ZF, so I guess Rick yours is updated, so I need to figure out how to update mine. Because it's sitting here, it's not being used, and I have a bunch of Leica lenses that I would like to put on my Nikon ZF and not focus them, because it's fun. It's fun. Why not? If the adapter allows it, why not? Ian White is asking my opinion about photography workshops offered by companies like 36 Exposures. Is it your work or just copying the teachers? I have no idea what 36 Exposures is, so I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, I don't know what the name of this company. Don't have any experience. Yeah, but if you can share, if there's anything that I can give you my advice or opinion on, yeah, definitely I will. Joe Vlog says, with the new LUTs, Nikon and Red, synergy seems to be priority for Nikon. Do you think this means that 9H with global shots is more or less likely now? The funny thing is, there's really no news on this, so I really don't see why we won't, see a global shot at some point from Nikon. I think we're gonna see dedicated video camera and then potentially, like dedicated sports camera. I don't see why not. That's the thing, but. Yeah, I don't have anything else to share on this one, I'm afraid. I think video camera, next year is going to be a video camera year for sure. Doesn't mean that we won't see Z9H or Z9 II. That's the thing. Obviously, Z9 high speed, H for high speed, I guess. As you say, like if you get low resolution camera, similar to what Canon R1, I think, or something like this, would be interesting. Will we see this? I have no idea. I don't think that we will see it this year, but it's quite interesting to see what's going to come from Nikon next. And if you see that if you look at the rumors, literally the like a part of the last week where we had 3 announcements, last about 2 or 3 months. Not much rumors came out at all. So that's that. So I'm not sure, but yeah, I think it's easy to say that probably Nikon will have its own dedicated line of video cameras, for sure. And I think the LUTs. It's a software. It's a lookup table which you can design. It's not a hardware. It's easier to effectively develop, if you think what I mean, compared to, let's say, hardware or something like this. Because if you have a dedicated video line, you really may want to have proper lenses that will work with it. So maybe some cine type lenses, and obviously we saw the rumors of that. That's for sure. All right. Ray Bryden has a question for me. So he's asking for my thoughts on what photography will evolve in 10 years from now. All mirrorless, film still alive, all image generation dead. I think AI will be AI. I think photography will stay photography. Film is going to be still here. I think film is becoming kind of a new vinyl in a way that a lot of people predicted the vinyl will die effectively after a kind of a renaissance, renaissance. But as you can see, that actually vinyl sales kind of, I don't know if they increase, but they've been increasing every year. I don't know what it is now, but now you can see that every band will have a vinyl release. So in terms of this, I personally think that film photography will stay there as a niche. Of course, it will never compete with digital, let's be honest. But the amount of young people shooting film, like I developed film for a lot of photographers, and amount of film that's been used by young people as well as every other age groups is incredible. That's the thing. That's what I can tell you this. So I think AI is going to be used definitely. AI features you can see are creeping into Photoshop and other softwares. So in terms of this, you will get a lot of automation that comes with the help of AI. I think it's a blessing in a way, but it comes down to what you expect from photography to be. I expect if it's a documentary photography, it has to be an unaltered image. But any commercial photography, any family photography, things like this, AI, this, removing people, adding people, it's quite straightforward. If you follow, like, if you go on Reddit, there's this group there called Photoshop requests, and the amount of people submitting photograph and say, let's say, this is my father at my wedding during the COVID, can you remove the mask? And people do those things, like these kind of things where you have family photography, it doesn't really matter, if you see what I mean, if the image is photoshopped or AI'd in a way, so that's the thing. So I think they all will have its place, but as I say, for me personally, news documentary photography has to stay true. So whatever the image from the sensor comes out, obviously fine-tune it in terms of, let's say, colors, but, convert to black and white, but there's no Photoshop or AI modification needs to be there. So that's the thing. But, we're all going to shoot digital, we're going to all shoot film, we're all going to use AI depending on what applications we need. So, Len Oshman is asking, any good video software that is easy to use? Good question. I've been using mostly Premiere Pro for editing our videos, and I use DaVinci Resolve, and I have full version of DaVinci Resolve. Free version of DaVinci Resolve is very good. So it supports Nikon RAW. Premiere Pro, as far as I'm aware, doesn't support NRAW. So you can use DaVinci, the free version. So you can also you can buy a full version, but the free version does. I think it's pretty good. It gives you a lot of features, and I think it's up to 4K export. If you need more than 4K, then you may need to upgrade to this. But I would say a good 3-4 hours learning the software is required, but they'll do a good job once you kind of know what they do. Once you kind of learn the shortkeys, it's quite straightforward. So choose what you like. But I say if you want free DaVinci Resolve, just that's my recommendation. But yes, of course, you got Final Cut from Apple as well, quite well known. You can buy directly from Apple, so iOS store. Premiere can be had on subscription, so that's what it is. Let's see what other questions that I've missed. So 3 o'clock now. We're not buffering, so that's good news. But that's because I'm streaming from home. But it's on Wi-Fi, so that's it is. Good coffee. Okay. Matley says, I do miss the lens roadmap. It was fun to see what ideas will come in the future. I agree. I do like the idea of roadmap. Obviously, they explained why. They said we reached the point of where the system is mature enough that we don't need to show you what's coming next. The whole point of roadmap is, from their point of view, is to say that you buying your equipment now, but you know what other, let's say, lenses will come in. So that way you don't have to wait for the lens to come out. You can buy your equipment confidently now and know it's going to be available in the future, except 35 1.2, which we're still waiting for. But I agree. It's fun to have. I understand the Nikon reasoning for why it is the case while we're not having that. Okay, let's see more comments. Martin Anderson says, I knew ZF firmware in the future. Of course, there will be a ZF firmware in the future. That's not a problem. Love that the Fuji X cameras that it always give you a new wrinkle after an update. Yeah, they used to do that, but they don't do it anymore. What's called Kensai or something, whatever. Kensai. The philosophy and stuff. Yes, I bought my original X Pro 1 when it wasn't even released in the UK. I was in Japan at the time. And the camera with a firmware 1.0 was like driving a tractor. And the camera on the laser firmware wasn't exactly a Ferrari, but was a very confident Mazda, I would say. So I can tell you that. They don't do this anymore. That's what Fuji kind of stopped doing. They do release firmwares, but they're not as exciting anymore, as you've noticed. I think Nikon is definitely did more with Z9 firmware updates, which effectively trickle down to cameras like Z6 III, Z8, and ZF. They build that base and foundation with Z9 firmwares that it's very good to see. So Fuji, in my opinion, is not leader in the firmware development. That's for sure. But if you looked at, if you've seen an article on Nikon Rumors recently stating that there should be an update for all the kind of current cameras that are still on sale. So Gen 2 and Gen 3 cameras, effectively, that will give you connection to their cloud system. So that's probably easy to say that will happen in the near future. What else can they improve on Nikon ZF with a firmware update? Well, let me know in the comments below. I would like to hear that. I'm quite happy with my Nikon ZF, actually. Personally, I am streaming from my Nikon ZF right now, 24-70 lens, set 2.8. Does the job. Connects via USB cable to my MacBook, and I use Nikon utility, web utility to use basically my camera's webcam. So that's how I'm streaming. So that's what it is. I do love my Nikon ZF. It's a nice camera. All right, let's see more questions. Did I miss anything? Okay, so I covered the software recommendation. There's lots of suggestions to Ian Y. That's fantastic. Let's see. We covered this firmware updates. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. He says, good afternoon, everybody. Other than Greg, has anyone got any rare Nikon gear? I have two Nikomods, FT3s in black. Only 440,000 of them made, and I have one of the Japanese market 51.8 pancakes. Gary, good question. Thank you very much for the coffee fund. Please tell me in the comments below what rare Nikon goodies you have in your possession. Don't be shy. Let us know in the comments below. So good recommendation from Andy Miller. He says DaVinci Resolve Studio is the beans, really easy to learn. Andy, I'm going to show you something here. So here's what I have right now. So I have the full version of DaVinci Resolve as well. So got this it's a Blackmagic 6 whatever pocket full frame. Bought it when it was on sale. So they had this really good, I think 50% discount. Beautiful footage comes out of this guy, I can tell you that. As you can see, it's got a Nikon attached to it. Well, it's a Voigtlander 40mm Ultron on it via an adapter. I have a little small rig cage around it. It's not exactly the smallest and lightest video camera, but if you like the video, and I kind of want to learn from it, so that's the thing. This is very ND filter that I have here, and it helps to shoot when you have a sunny day like it is now in South London and in London, and you want to shoot wide open. Let's say I got 40 f2 here, so you definitely need an ND filter, because otherwise you just got too much light. But yeah, definitely, Blackmagic is very underrated. So their software is amazing. Their hardware is pretty good. From the studio, we stream from Blackmagic 8 Mini Pro Gizmo, things like this. They're not easy cameras to use because there's no autofocus. Well, these autofocus where you have to pre-focus if you got L-mount, let's say, lens, native L-mount lens. But footage that comes out of it is amazing. So I definitely looking forward to what Nikon is going to come to this place, because Blackmagic is definitely groundbreaking for the price. It's amazing value for money, but you need to learn your equipment. So I want a Nikon to get into that space, So imagine we're going to get autofocus, full tracking, for the camera that can produce beautiful image quality, beautiful video footage, and definitely I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Randall. I appreciate it. He says Nikon Z50 Mark II having USB-C and 26 megapixel or 33 megapixel camera is what I would like to see. Yes, with IBIS. So for me, USB-C, I can guarantee that USB-C definitely will be there, because ZFC already had USB-C, Z30 has USB-C. I need IBIS on DX, that's for sure. We talked about it, that's for sure. And yes, bump in resolution, because Z50 is still using D500 sensor, and we talked about it. But yes, I definitely would like to see an improvement on that. Or give me 21 megapixels. Just make a new version of it, not the same sensor, like a new version. Make it 20 megapixel, but make a new version. It's just, yeah, it's a nice sensor. Actually handles overexposure very well, which is surprising me. But yeah, I would like to see new development in sensors for DX cameras. Okay, Lucas is asking, can you change aperture or ISO directly in webcam utility? Cheers. No, to be honest, I have no idea. Well, webcam utility only gives you the footage from the camera, so it's effective webcam. So I don't have any controls there, so I don't think you can. But the way I handle the situation like this is basically, I think I'm shooting on manual mode now. Set my exposure on this. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. But for live streaming, you can even stick it to aperture priority. It does the job. So that's the thing. Well, your shutter speed is always set, isn't it? So that's that. So no, I don't think you can. It's just effectively all it does for you is allows you to your software on the computer, basically your computer, to think that you're using a web camera. That's all it is. Okay, so Craig C has some suggestions for Nikon ZF firmware update. So he says, Nikon ZF really needs cycle autofocus mode. Okay, similar to other cameras, yes. Especially having few customizable buttons. Also, the ability to swap display and menu buttons, they are reversed from Z8 and Z9 and Z6 III. Yes and no. I personally think that's it's nice to have this customization, but I also think that the whole idea of knobs and dials is to kind of keep it very simple. So I personally think that the more programmable buttons you have, the merrier. It's just this camera is designed about simplicity of shooting, so it may not be the right camera to have that. It's more important for cameras like Z6 III, Z8, and Z9. But if we can have that option to kind of toggle option on and off, I don't see why not. So again, technically a software thing, isn't it? It's not really a hardware thing. Let's see. Martin says, I love my Nikon ZF, so not much can be improved, I guess, but I would love something that makes us able to more easily create presets or recipes instead of the Nikon picture control. Martin, this is literally going to come. That's a guaranteed, because we've got it now on Z6 III. We've got those effectively picture profiles, which done through Nikon Cloud software. So this is definitely coming, Martin. It's definitely coming. I don't know anything, but I'm 99% certain that it will come to Nikon ZF. They won't limit it to, let's say, Z6 III only. It will come to Z8 and Z9. And the way it works is definitely will be a lot easier than picture profiles. So that's that's what I can tell you. It's also a community-based feature where people can vote for their best presets and things like this. It's became so easy that Fuji, what's this website that has Fuji profiles, put an article saying Nikon copied me or something like this. So that was a big, well, not really big, really kind of small pot was stirred, but the guy wasn't happy for some reason. He thinks Nikon should have paid him for this. I don't think they've stole anything, but that's a different story. So that's that. So that's coming. So I think it's just a matter of them ironing out the Nikon Cloud system. Once it's all kind of up and running without any hiccups, then we will definitely see the the improvements there. So, question from Andy: what physical differences between your Blackmagic Cine camera and Z8, Z9? Okay, so it's very difficult to judge by design. I don't have Z8 with me to show you, but maybe if I bring the camera with me for the next live stream, then I can put them maybe side by side. So, Blackmagic camera is bigger than Z8. It's longer. First of all, the grip is bigger overall. Build quality is not as good. It feels more plasticky. It's not weather sealed. As you can see, there's some vents in there. So there's air coming out, in and out. So build quality, Z8, Z9 is much better. That's the thing. But I guess, like the data that comes out of this camera will be slightly better on this. But it does 6K. It doesn't do 8K. This one does open gate as well. Which I love open gate. I just, people who come in from photography, I like my kind of more square format, not less wide format. So that's the thing. But you're asking about physical differences. It's wider than Z9 and Z8, that's for sure. Z9 maybe is a little bit taller. I bought a little EVF, which is sold separately for this camera. So that's that. With the obviously Z8, Z9, you have it built in. So weight-wise, well, once you rig this out, it becomes heavy. So this is heavier now than Nikon Z9, I can tell you that. Z9, Z8 also will have IBS on sensor. So your footage handheld is going to be much better. This one, ideally, you want to put some sort of shoulder rig or gimbal, which again, you need to have a gimbal that can handle those. But overall, physical differences, yes, it's bigger. Overall, the width is bigger. It's taller than Z8. It's not as tall as Z9, but once you rig it out, it definitely becomes bigger and heavier. And I will take Nikon build quality any day, I can tell you that much. All right. So yes, there is a smooth focus right on with Voigtlander 58. They all smooth focusing lenses. I can tell you that. Matley is asking, do you think us poor version 2 users will be getting any additional features with firmware in the future? Doubting it myself. Sorry to say, Matley, but I don't think we'll see any autofocus improvements or anything like this. We will see probably some stability updates because we, till recently, we still saw some updates for Nikon Z6 and Z7 cameras. So I can see that Nikon will support them. I don't think we'll see any performance improvements. It's just the hardware is not there. So that's the thing. Yeah, the whole thing that, second processor, where marketing made this big thing out of second processor, I do find it was a mistake of Nikon overselling the second processor, because we thought that second processor does miracles, and it doesn't really. So that's the thing. But unfortunately, no. I would say to you, as long as you don't need super fast autofocus, Gen 2s are still fantastic cameras because focus is accurate. And compared to even if you compare it to D750 and D800 cameras, well, maybe D800, not 750, but autofocus is pretty good. It's similar autofocus to D610, D750 is faster than D800. So yeah, I would say I'll compare it to D750 actually, Gen 2 cameras. So I'd say it's good enough for general photography. It's good enough for people. It's not good enough for fast-moving subjects like wildlife and sports. So that's kind of where the difference is, but eventually I would suggest maybe going for Gen 4, maybe. I think Gen 2 is still fantastic cameras. I think they're still good for 2-3 years. But there's a significant improvement in autofocus speed. I think that's where Gen 3 is definitely shining. Image quality, about the same. That's the thing. It's really, for me, if you have to differentiate those cameras, is autofocus. And obviously, we got cameras like Z8 and Z9, which we didn't have before. We've got cameras like ZF, which we didn't have before. So those are kind of all, the form factor can convince enough people to switch or upgrade to those ones. But if you, let's say, as you say, you mentioned you've got... let's say, if you got Z6 or Z6 Z6 II, Z7 II, effectively Z6 III form factor is going to be the same. Obviously, video features are better, autofocus is better, things like this. But if you just do general photography and you don't need video, you're pretty good, All right. Okay, so yes, display menu is muscle memory thing. Craig C says, hard to change between ZA and ZF. Fair enough. Yes, definitely. I see what you mean there. All right. There's a conversation about Z50. What about connections, Andy, on this camera? So what this camera has over Z8, Z6 II is mini XLR. So you got two mini XLRs. You got 12-volt input. Again, Nikons don't have it. USB-C, both Nikon and Blackmagic has it. Full-size HDMI. Z8 and Z9 have full-size HDMI. And then here you got a microphone and headphone jack. I believe you should have both on those. Or maybe you have a microphone jack but not headphone jack on those cameras. So that's the thing. I've got my ZFC here but not the other ones. So that's with regards to connections. So again, don't personally need mini XLRs. I don't really do film for production or anything like this. So, but for some people who, if you're shooting feature films, you can connect mini XLRs and things like this. My advice would be still to use external device. So something like this guy over here. So this is Zoom H6. So you can hook it up to a proper mic, XLR mic, and have it as a kind of different audio source. But again, it's not a one-man band type of shooting, if you see what I mean. So it's a crew, so that has different people for different things. But realistically speaking, if you're one man, then you can definitely hook up one of those mics, get a full XLR to mini XLR cable, have that way to do it. And if you do, let's say, one person talking bit like I'm doing now, you can have, let's say, one microphone here and one, let's say, boom on top, and they both kind of just will work, for different things. Or you can record a basic interview with two mics, straight on the camera. So that's where those connections are definitely much better. All right. Nigel Saturn's asking, do you use control ring on Z lenses? I find them too sensitive and disable them. Don't really use those, to be honest with you. So I use zoom ring on my 24-70. Don't really use anything else. My aperture is set on the body. But again, some people find it interesting. That's the thing. I think the options are there. That's the good news. Martin's asking any rumors about smaller builds, better build Z lenses, too much ZF style. No, but I'm kind of, I'm definitely hoping to see something like this. Just to kind of give you an example, so what do I have here? Let's see. Where is my 28mm lens when I need it? Okay, my 28mm lens disappeared somewhere. Oh well. So yeah, I definitely would like Nikon to release something better in that space. Absolutely. So because I like my metal rings. That's the thing. I understand there's autofocus involvement, but I do feel 28 and 40mm lens from Nikon can be they're good lenses. They just they feel plasticky. And they don't have metal mount. So I personally definitely would love to see something better built. You can increase the price and things like this, but I do find that, yes, I would rather, have something better built. And we definitely need more lens in that space. So first, if I have to say, let's say, maybe a really similar style, a longer lens, I don't know, 65, 75mm, to go with 28 and 40. That's start number one, and then later on release a proper, beautifully made lenses for ZF that will match the style of the lens. That would be my kind of suggestion to that. Thank you, Randall. Appreciate it. Nikon Red version, he says, of a Sony FX3 and FX30 or Canon's video type of cameras also. Yes, that's. I think that's coming. I think that's what we will see from Nikon. Where the dedicated Nikon video line of cameras, obviously, which is Red. Red are going to have their own pro cameras, which are going to be big, expensive, designed for professionals, But Nikon, I think, will release those kind of dedicated cine line. And I assume that it will have something like FX3 and FX30. Well, technically it's Z30, but it should be competing with FX30. But yeah, I agree. Sony's way ahead on that. So yeah, I think that's where we'll start to see next year. We'll start to see an improvement there from Nikon side of things, releasing products around it. That's the thing. While I'm thinking that next year is going to be a year of Nikon video things, I hope they won't forget us photographers, still photographers who don't shoot video as often. So that's why the previous discussion on Z9H with global shots and things has all come in. So I hope we're still going to get a good product for stills photographers. But yes, keep in mind that video is pushing now the technology for stills photographers, or whatever is developed in video side of things kind of trickles down into stills. So keep that in mind. There's no way around it. That's the thing. But effectively, to get the video working, if it works for video, that means it will work for stills. As simple as that. All right. Well, I think, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up. Because it's been over an hour, I've got gardening to do. So, so trim some bushes and, play with Tilly outside. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of the weekend. I wish you all have a great weekend, of course. Go take some photographs, share it with us. We will see you next week. I hope that next week we will have Z6 video out. We've been publishing video once a week now, so we're kind of coming back to that. So hopefully, I think it's just it's almost done there. So hopefully we can get it over with, and you will see it next Tuesday as well. I'm gonna say hello to Becky from all of you in the chat as well, and I'll just pass her regards to you as well. So thanks so much. It's been a blast as usual. So I'll see you next week. All the best. Bye-bye.